Welcome to the most satisfying eating experience you'll see today. In this episode, we're going all in: massive cuts of glazed meat, fiery spicy noodles, rich sauces, and bold flavors that will make your mouth water. Whether you're watching to relax, crave, or just enjoy the art of food, this is the ultimate treat for your senses. We'll start with sticky, saucy meats that glisten under the light, followed by intensely spicy noodles that bring both heat and flavor. You'll also see a medley of mouth-watering meats, each one dipped, coated, and seared to perfection. So sit back, grab your favorite snack, and prepare to experience every bite, slurp, and sizzle. No distractions, no talking heads, just the hypnotic sound and look of good food, made to satisfy. Ready? Let's begin. Glazed Meat Showdown, a deep dive experience. There's something deeply satisfying about glazed meat. Whether it's the glistening surface, the tender fibers that fall apart effortlessly, or the rich, sticky sauce that clings to every bite, glazed meat captures the soul of comfort food and elevates it to visual and sensory art. A massive, slow-cooked beef rib, bone-in and generously coated with a dark, shimmering glaze. The meat has been marinated for over 12 hours in a mixture of garlic, soy sauce, brown sugar, ginger, and black pepper. Once placed into the slow cooker, it simmers gently for hours, absorbing every bit of flavor and breaking down the connective tissue to achieve that melt-in-your-mouth consistency. The meat lies on a wooden board, steam rising gently, backlit to catch the glistening sauce that hugs every edge. The glaze has caramelized slightly, creating that beautiful sticky outer shell that contrasts with the juicy inside. A soft brush is used to apply one final layer of glaze, thicker now, with reduced sugars and an almost mirror-like shine. The brush strokes slow down, almost sensual, emphasizing the thickness of the sauce. Then, the slicing begins. A long, sharp knife sinks into the meat like it's slicing through warm butter. There's no resistance, just a smooth glide that reveals a pink-brown center, still juicy, glistening under the overhead light. Each slice falls away in clean, thick cuts. You can hear it, the soft thud of the knife, the tiny squeak of meat being pulled apart, and the occasional crackle from charred glaze crusting on the edges. This is where the soundscape becomes the star. You hear the glaze as it peels gently from the surface with the knife. The faint stickiness as it's sliced is oddly pleasing, like pulling apart caramel. Then comes the chew, the moment of truth. A slow bite is taken, and the camera lingers on the eater's face, not showing it in full, just enough to capture the eyes briefly closing in satisfaction. The chewing is soft and deliberate. You hear the sauce blend with the natural juices of the meat. A single exhale of breath, a tiny sigh of contentment, says more than words ever could. Flavor breakdown. What does it taste like? The first thing that hits the tongue is the umami, that deep, savory note from the soy base and beef fat blending together. Then the garlic rises up, roasted and mellowed, not sharp but rich and nutty. A hint of sweetness from brown sugar and honey follows, balanced by a slight tang, maybe from a dash of rice vinegar or citrus zest. There's ginger too, but it's subtle. It plays a background role, warming the palate without demanding attention. The glaze is sticky but not heavy, flavorful without overpowering. It's the kind of sauce you could bottle and sell, the kind people want to lick off their fingers when the meal is done. This segment also subtly celebrates the craft of good cooking. There's the marinade phase, which requires patience and precision. The cook uses a vacuum-sealed bag to speed up absorption, showing a quick time-lapse of the meat resting overnight in a fridge. Then comes the slow cooking, hours of gentle bubbling in a sealed pot or sous vide bath, locking in moisture and breaking down collagen for that signature tenderness. Finally, the meat is seared or broiled for a few minutes at high heat. This adds the texture contrast, a slightly crispy outer edge to complement the soft, juicy interior. It's a dance of time and temperature, and the result is absolute satisfaction on the plate. Though the meat is the star, subtle hints of what it could be paired with appear around the frame. A bowl of sticky white rice, glistening with a few drops of meat glaze. Pickled cucumbers or radishes for a touch of acidity and crunch. Maybe even a small dish of kimchi or a creamy mash that acts as a cooling contrast. The camera doesn't focus too long on these, they're supporting actors, not the lead, but their presence deepens the sense of completeness. Why does watching, or hearing, this matter? Food videos like this don't just trigger hunger. They offer emotional relief. Watching someone prepare and eat food slowly, deliberately, and joyfully creates a mirror response in the viewer. It slows your heartbeat, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and invites comfort, even if you're not the one eating. The rich textures, deep browns and reds, the shine of the glaze, the rhythmic movements of cutting and chewing, all of these elements combine to soothe. They simulate a warm meal shared with someone, a dinner at your favorite spot, or even a nostalgic memory of home cooking. This is especially true in the post-pandemic era, where eating shows became forms of connection and comfort for millions. There's something universally irresistible about spicy noodles. From Korean fire noodles and Sichuan-style mala to Thai chili garlic stir-fry and Indonesian sambal varieties, spicy noodles speak a language of indulgence, excitement, and intensity. They are more than a meal, they are an experience. And in this segment of our satisfying eating show, we explore that fiery pleasure in full, sensory detail. As the bowl is slowly turned by hand for the camera, flecks of crushed red pepper, sesame seeds, chopped scallions, and fried garlic are revealed. The visual is both mouth-watering and intimidating. You can almost feel the heat radiating through the screen. Then comes the first movement, a pair of wooden chopsticks dipping into the center of the noodles, lifting a hefty, tangled portion into the air. They stretch and fall in slow motion, sauce dripping from each strand in hypnotic fashion. This isn't just food. It's visual art. As the noodles are stirred and lifted, the soft, slick sounds of sauce-coated strands create a satisfying rhythm. The gentle squish of noodles sliding together is oddly soothing, like silk rubbing against silk. A slight sizzle can still be heard from the pan in the background, suggesting the noodles were just finished moments ago. Then comes the first slurp. It's slow, intentional, and amplified slightly for ASMR satisfaction. The noodles slip between lips with a soft slurping sound, followed by a few audible chews. There's no crunch, just the rhythmic chew of thick, chewy noodles coated in flavor. A small exhale follows, a signal that the spice is kicking in. The spice journey begins. The spice isn't immediate. It builds slowly, teasing the tongue before lighting a fire. It begins with warmth at the tip of the tongue, followed by a tingling sensation that spreads to the cheeks and forehead. A slight sheen of sweat appears just above the brow. The eater pauses, eyes closed, processing both the burn and the flavor. This is what spice lovers crave, the edge, the rush, the reward. The sauce is more than just hot, it's complex. It carries layers of flavor that unfold with each bite. The base is chili oil, rich and smoky, infused with garlic and shallots that have been slow-fried to bring out a toasty depth. There's also fermented black bean paste in the mix, giving it a salty, umami backbone. A touch of sugar cuts the heat just enough to keep you coming back for more. You taste the earthiness of the chili, the bitterness of the toasted sesame oil, and the sweet tang of soy sauce and rice vinegar. Together, it's not just spicy, it's addictive. The technique of the perfect bite. This is no ordinary instant noodle pack. These noodles were hand-boiled and then wok-tossed in sauce to lock in flavor. You can tell from the texture, they are bouncy, chewy, and elastic without being soggy. Each strand holds the sauce with a perfect cling, ensuring that every bite is drenched in flavor. The chopsticks grip a new portion, swirling it to gather even more sauce. In between bites, a side garnish is introduced, thin slices of pickled radish. Bright yellow and slightly translucent, they offer a brief, crisp relief between waves of heat. The eater pauses to crunch into one, crack, a sound that sharply contrasts the soft chew of the noodles. Why do people subject themselves to spicy food? For many, it's not punishment, it's pleasure with a punch. Spicy food stimulates the body's pain receptors, triggering a release of endorphins and adrenaline. It's the same effect you get from exercise, thrill rides, or even a good laugh. It makes you feel alive. Watching someone else eat spicy noodles activates a similar rush. You anticipate the burn, you react with them, you admire their tolerance, or relate to their suffering. There's a voyeuristic joy in watching someone ride the roller coaster of chili heat. For those who aren't brave enough to eat it themselves, this becomes the next best thing. Spoon garnishes, sides, and cooling agents. As the noodles continue to disappear, the bowl reveals more of its hidden components. There are chopped scallions folded underneath, adding a sharp freshness to some bites. Bits of soft-boiled egg rest on the side, yolk still creamy and runny, offering relief from the intensity. A scoop of kimchi adds sourness and depth. Together, they add dimension to the dish. Next to the bowl sits a tall glass of icy cucumber water, fogged with condensation. The eater takes slow sips between bites, eyes slightly watering, lips tinged with red. The moment is dramatic but still satisfying. The drink doesn't eliminate the burn, it balances it, keeping the eater grounded and pushing them to continue. Clapperboard cinematic cuts and transitions. The segment is artfully cut. Wide shots show the full bowl being attacked. Medium shots focus on the eater's reactions, nose sniffles, lips licking, occasional chuckles as the spice builds. Close-ups highlight the textures, the slippery noodles, the glossy sauce, the beads of sweat. Occasionally, the video replays a slurp in slow motion, emphasizing how the noodles stretch and snap back like elastic. Each transition is seamless, keeping the rhythm of the eating experience alive. The pacing is slow, indulgent. It invites the viewer not just to watch but to feel every element. There's little to no dialogue in this segment. Everything is told through body language, facial expression, and sound. The viewer reads every moment, the initial excitement, the first hit of spice, the deep breath before the next bite. A small smirk, a raised eyebrow, a satisfied head nod, these say more than words ever could. This approach makes the experience universal. No matter where you're from, you can understand what's happening. Spice transcends language. The aftermath. As the bowl empties, the pace slows. The eater's face is flushed, but they are smiling. The satisfaction is visible, the kind of fulfillment only a spicy food experience can offer. The bowl is tilted, last bits of noodle gathered and slurped. The chopsticks tap the side of the bowl once, a sign of completion. A final drink of cucumber water, a deep exhale, and a satisfied lean back in the chair. And that's a wrap on today's flavor-packed feast. From the sticky sweet glazed ribs to the heat bomb spicy noodles, and finally the triple threat meat medley, this was a full ride through the world of satisfying, soul-hitting food. If your stomach's growling, you're not alone. That's what these videos are all about, bringing comfort, cravings, and culinary art straight to your screen. Whether you watch to unwind, to get inspired, or just to enjoy the beauty of food, we're here to deliver those perfect bites every time. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the ride. Subscribe for more satisfying eating shows and flavor explorations. We've got something new sizzling every week.